hum intensified, a deep, resonant thrumming that vibrated through the concrete floor and up Elias's legs. The laboratory lights flickered, casting elongated, distorted shadows across the complex array of consoles and holographic projectors. He clung to a nearby workbench, his knuckles white, a metallic scent of ozone thickened the air. The figures in uniform moved with unsettling efficiency, their faces impassive behind the polished visors of their helmets. "Step aside, Assistant Finch," one of them stated, the voice distorted by the vocoder built into the helmet. "You are to be considered a secondary asset in this containment procedure. Any interference will be met with immediate correction." Elias swallowed, the lump in his throat making it difficult to speak. He glanced at Thorne, sprawled on the floor near the Chronarium Core, a faint shimmer of energy still radiating from the point of impact. Thorne's face was pale, his eyes closed. A fresh set of scratches marred his arms, pulsing faintly. But the Loom, Elias stammered, then stopped himself. He seen the fragmented glimpses, the Martian cityscape rendered in shimmering obsidian spires, the relentless drones patrolling the empty skies. He's heard Thorne mutter about reweaving, a phrase that conjured a chilling sense of cyclical dread. He understood with a bone-deep certainty that Thorne wasn't just a scientist, he was a nexus, a conduit for something far older and more dangerous. The figure ignored his protest. "Secure the Chronarium Core access points. Prevent unauthorized activation. Do you understand?" "Yes, sir," Elias replied, his voice barely audible. He shuffled away, his gaze darting between the figures and the unresponsive Thorne. He reached the nearest console and began the preliminary diagnostics, his fingers trembling as he typed in the access codes. The screen displayed a cascade of complex equations and schematics, the language of temporal mechanics swimming before his eyes. Suddenly, a flicker on the holographic projector, a brief, distorted image of a man's face, older than Thorne, but with the same intense, driven eyes. It vanished as quickly as it appeared, leaving Elias disoriented. A memory fragment, another bleed-through from a future he desperately hoped didn't exist. The hum grew louder, the vibrations more intense. On the main console, the Chronarium Core readings spiked, exceeding critical thresholds. A red alert flashed across the screen, accompanied by a synthesized warning tone. "Core destabilization imminent," a robotic voice announced. "Temporal integrity compromised. Initiating containment protocol Omega." The figures in uniform reacted instantly, converging on the Chronarium Core. One of them raised a device resembling a ray gun, aiming it at the core's central housing. "Directive from the Order," the figure stated. "Temporal anomaly requires immediate suppression. Secondary objectives prioritize subject containment." Elias watched in horror as the device emitted a beam of concentrated energy, striking the Chronarium Core. The core shuddered violently, the humming reaching a fever pitch. The laboratory lights went out, plunging the room into darkness. When the emergency lights flickered on, Elias found himself alone. The figures in uniform were gone. Thorne was still on the floor, unconscious. The laboratory door, reinforced with multiple locking mechanisms that sealed shut. He stumbled towards Thorne, desperately trying to rouse him. "Thorne? Thorne, can you hear me?" Thorne didn't respond. Elias noticed a small datapad lying next to Thorne's hand. He picked it up and activated the screen. It displayed a single photograph. An elderly man, his face etched with lines of wisdom and weariness, stared back at Elias. He bore a striking resemblance to Thorne, the ears simply softened the features. A single line of text was inscribed beneath the photograph: "The key remains." Suddenly, a voice crackled over the comm system, devoid of emotion, chillingly precise. "Assistant Finch, your current status is classified as secondary. Any attempt to contact external entities is strictly prohibited. Your cooperation is expected. Disobedience will be met with appropriate measures. Your role in the containment of Subject Thorne is paramount to the preservation of temporal stability." Elias dropped the datapad, a wave of nausea washing over him. He was trapped, imprisoned in a laboratory filled with dangerous technology, at the mercy of an organization he didn't understand. He glanced at the Chronarium Core, the humming now a relentless pulse, a harbinger of something terrible. "The Loom reweaves," he whispered it, the phrase echoing the chilling words he's heard from Thorne, realizing with a sickening certainty that he was caught in a cycle, a trap from which there seemed to be no escape. The humming intensified, the laboratory vibrating with an ominous power, and Elias knew, with chilling clarity, that his nightmare had only just begun.